Hello, lovely people. Welcome to Vab Fashion's YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. In this video, I'll be teaching us how to draft, cut, and sew a perfect collar for our corporate shirts. In my previous video, I already showed us how to draft, cut, and sew a shirt, a corporate shirt. So if you haven't seen that video, I'm going to be dropping the link in the description box. So today's video is on how to make a perfect collar. So before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please kindly click on the subscribe button to subscribe, and also ensure to put on your notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you. So to create a collar, you will need the round neck width of the shirt you're going to be sewing the collar to. And this is the shirt I already made. So I'm going to measure round the neckline. You can measure this on fold, or you can measure from one side of the placket to the other end. So here I have 15 inches. That's the neck width I'm going to be working with. And you can also fold it into two like I'm doing and then measure. So this way I should have 7.5. So 7.5 on fold, that's still 15 inches. Having done that, I'm going to set the shirt aside. I'll be drafting on my gum stay. So I've gone ahead to cut out the piece of the gum stay we'll be using to draft our collar. And here the width on fold is 9.5 inches and the length is 6 inches. So this will be enough to give me the collar stand and the collar on top of it. So the first thing I'm going to do is to mark the base, just to draw a line at the base here. All measurements will start from this line. So from the folded part of our gum stay, I'm going to mark the width of the neckline. And the width of the neckline on fold is 7 inches plus half inch for sewing the collar. That will give me 8 inches. So you can see I've marked on 8 inches. At the 8 inches point, I'm just indicating that this is where my measurement ends. So at this 8 inches mark here, I will go up by 1 inch and then mark it like this. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to get the midpoint of this line I have here, and the midpoint is 4 inches. So having done that, the next thing I'm going to do is to connect the 4 inches mark to the 1 inch I went up by. So I'll connect it like this. Okay, so you can see, so this curved line is where the measurement of my collar will take place. So now following the curved line, I'm going to mark 1.5 inches upwards. So I'm going to follow this shape like you can see. I'm marking 1.5 inches upwards. So at this point where the measurement ends, I'm just going to straighten the line like this. And then I'm going to use my curved ruler to connect the points. You see? So right now we have our collar stand. This is the lower part of the collar. So at this point that I have this sharpness, it's either you leave it this way or you just curve it. So you can see I'm just using my free hand to create a curve. So I went in by half of an inch and just used my free hand to create this curve. So this is optional. You can either have this curve or leave it straight. So now to mark the upper part of the collar. From the upper part of this collar stand, I'm going up by 3 inches, just following the shape like I did. So 3 inches. I'm going to use my curved ruler to connect the points too like this. And you see that? So now the next thing I'm going to do from this part here, that's from this part, I'm going to create a slant that our collars usually have. So it's either from here or from the curve point. So from this curve point, since I'm going to be working with the curve point, I'm going to go in by 1 inch. Can you see? From the curve point, I went in by 1 inch. So I'm going to connect it to meet the upper part of the collar like this. So can you see that? So our collar is almost ready. So now if you want to have one piece of the collar. This is what you'll be working with. But in this case, I'm making a two-piece collar. So I'm going to show us how to separate it to have a two-piece collar. So this is me just cutting out everything, the excess fabric I don't need or the excess gum stay I don't need. So I'm cutting that out. So this is what our collar it looks like. That's a single collar. That's if you want a one-piece collar. So, but in a situation where you want to have a two-piece collar, I'm going to be separating the collar stand from the upper collar. So I'm going to cut at this point. So now you can see that we now have two of them. And you see, this is what we have. So this is what I'm going to place on my fabric and cut out this piece. I'm going to show us the places we need to add the necessary allowance. So I'm going to place it on my fabric and cut it out and show us the next thing to do. So as you can see, I've cut my fabric already and I've ironed the gum stay. So I cut two pieces of this gum stay. Everything you see I have two pieces. I cut two pieces of the gum stay and I ironed it to the fabric also. So for the fabric, for the upper part of the gum stay, I didn't add any allowance, but to this down part, which is the collar stand, I added half inch at the base. That's at the down part of the collar. Can you see? I added half inch at the down part. So I'm going to pick one of them, which is this one, and press it. That half inch that I left. And take note that the gum stay did not get to the half inch. That's the gum stay stopped exactly. I cut out exactly what I need to cut out as the gum stay, and then I added half inch. I hope we understand what I'm trying to say. So the down part where I am folding this half inch does not have the gum stay. That's just what I'm trying to say. And you see, after folding it, I'm going to leave the other one. So then this is the collar stand. You can see that I didn't add any allowance to it. I cut out exactly what I had on my gum stay. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and stitch it this way and leave the down part open. Then I'll come back and show us. So I'm done stitching it. You can see that I left the down part open. So I'm going to cut out these edges so that I can turn out the collar. And then I'll also go ahead and notch it very well so that everything, it can allow me press it well and it will relax well. So I'm using my scissors to push out the sharp edges so that it comes out really well. So you can see I've turned it inside out, or I've turned it to the right side. So right now I'll bring in my pressing iron and give it a very nice press so that the collar can relax. So you can see this is what the collar looks like. So you need something to push out the edges so that it comes out really beautiful. So now this is the next thing I'm going to do. I'll bring in the collar stand. First, I'm going to get the midpoint of this upper collar like this. I'm just going to notch the center, and then I'll bring in the stand and also get the midpoints of both of them and notch as well. So now I'm going to place the midpoint, as I'm placing the collar right side of the collar facing the right side of the upper collar. That's the right side of the collar stand facing the right side. So you can see I'm repeating the same thing both ways. So I'm placing the collar stand over the main collar, that's the one on top. So you can see I pinned all the midpoints. So now this is what I'm trying to do. The upper part is in between the two collar stands. Can you see? So you make sure that you pin the midpoint first, and then I'm going to try to align this collar very well. It is very important. You don't want what you have on the left to be more than what you have on the right, especially at that curved area. You want all of them to be equal. So that is why it is very sensitive. So you need to use your pins to secure the points like this. So I'm going to pin it this way, just like you can see me doing. I'll make sure that what I have on the left of the curve is the same thing as what I have on the right of the curve. So right now I'm done pinning. So now this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this to my sewing machine, and then I'll stitch on 1/2 inch. I will stitch following this curved shape like this way, and then I'll take it all the way. Take note that one of the collar stand is already folded. That's the seam allowance of one of the collar stand is folded already. That's I folded this 1/2 inch. Okay, so now this is me just drawing a curve here, because this curve, it is easier when you draw a curve, especially for a beginner. So it makes it easy for you when you are sewing, you can follow the curve. I'm going to go and stitch it and come back and show us. So as you can see, I've stitched it round already. Can you see? So I'll go ahead now and notch the collar. So after notching, I'm going to turn it out to the right side and give it a very nice press. Okay, so this is what I have after pressing the collar. So can you see that the upper part of the collar now is the part that I already folded my 1/2 inch inwards. So I'm just pressing it well so that we can see clearly what I'm talking about. Take note that the one on top is the one that I have folded 1/2 inch. I folded the 1/2 inch seam allowance inward. So I can see I brought in my ironing wood so that once I press, it keeps the crease line down in place for me. And you see that? And then the one underneath, you can see that it still has the sewing allowance still showing up. Can you see how curved the neckline is? So what I have on the left is the same thing as what I have on the right. No one is longer than the other. Okay, so then the next thing I'll do now is to fold the collar into two like this, and also get the midpoint. Once I have that midpoint, I'm going to notch the center. I'm going to notch that point. And then I'll also bring in the shirt and notch the center back of the shirt. So you can see I notched on the one that I did not fold. I notched on the one that I didn't fold the 1/2 inch seam allowance, not the one that is folded. Okay, so I'm also going to fold the shirt also into two like I did before, and then I'll also notch the center. After doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is to place the collar. I'll place the collar from the wrong side of the fabric. From the wrong side, that's from the reverse side of the shirt now. I'm placing it, I'm pinning it to the part that I didn't fold the 1/2 inch seam allowance. Please take note of what I'm doing. I'm pinning it to the side that I didn't fold the 1/2 inch seam allowance. And when sewing your collar, you want to make sure that the collar, that's the end of the collar, aligns with your placket. You don't want your collar being longer than the placket, or the placket being longer and folding at the collar area. So you just want to make sure that everything aligns well. That is why taking proper measurement matters a lot, and sewing correctly is also very important. So I'm pinning it. I'll do that all the way to the other side. So after pinning, I'll take this to my sewing machine or stitch on this 1/2 inch seam allowance. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to flip the collar over like this and tuck in my seam allowance into the collar. And then I'll go ahead and top stitch the collar. I'm going to do that and come back and show us the final outcome. And you see, I'm done stitching our collar, and I've also gone ahead to give it a very good press. You can see what it looks like. Everything is well aligned. The placket is aligning with the end of the collar, and I have the same thing here. Came out really beautiful. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something. If you did, please make sure to like this video, share this video with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. And also make sure you put on your notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.